through the magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast.
What's up, everyone? How we all doing this Saturday night? So Transformers Slag Podcast in our live stream main event. I'm your host, Protoman. I'm the face that runs this place. I'm the voice you hear Monday to Friday. It's Saturday today. We're going to be talking Transformers for the next 2 hours. So you're stuck with me, unless you want to go somewhere else. But you're stuck with me for the next 2 hours. We're going to be talking the robots in the skies. We're going to be talking the news. We'll be taking questions from the fans. We're going to fix the camera a little bit there. I didn't realize how off it was. And we're just going to chill, talk the robots. We got a lot of news to cover, a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Picked up little things here and there, nothing too major. So we can talk about what we picked up. New Toy Armada segment. We'll talk about that too. Got a new format that we're working on. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. So let's get into it. But first, who is in the chat today? We got James, what's up? One of my YouTube members. We got Mayoral Fabrication, one of my Patreon people. We got Patrick Brown, one of my YouTube members. We got Cringe McCringle, one of my Patreon guys. And he put out a new segment just recently on his channel of toy reviews. Go to check that out. Flatline Girl, one of my patrons. How you doing? We got Rudy Mack, YouTube member. Navito, YouTube member. Fawnheart, how you doing? YouTube member. We got Will Murphy, YouTube member. Hope I'm not missing nobody. It's all kind of running in here. The First Guy, YouTube member. T-Formers 2002, YouTube member and Patreon. Double dipping. Who else we got? Victory, how you doing? Nice to see you too. I don't think you were here last week, Victory. Big Bot Bodega, how you doing, my man? Eyes on the Ace. It's one of our Patreon people. Got a lot of people coming in. Hope I don't miss nobody. Hope I don't miss no one. Everyone's slowly just peeling in now. Usually around this time is when everyone starts bum rushing in. Sorry, my hair's a bit of a mess. Just came from outside. Had a little bit of a, look at that one piece of hair. It's just sticking there. The few that still remain. Either way, how we all doing? Let's jump into some news. And we'll take some super chats from you guys. And just talk about everything that's going on in the world of the robots in the sky. Thank you for the Joe Cool jacket. So this is actually, I'm a huge Charlie Brown fan, Peanuts fan. One of my favorite comic strips as a kid growing up from Charles Schultz. And they recently did a clothing collection of Joe Cool through the Canadian brand Joe Fresh. Because there's a brand called Joe Fresh through Loblaws, which is a grocery chain. So they did the Joe Fresh, Joe Cool line. So it's a cool jacket. I picked it up recently. Look at the back there. Oh, yeah. Really cool. They had other stuff, too. They had some of the original pages from the old comic strip as shirts and stuff. And they had pajama pants and all kinds of stuff. But I was going to get the premium sports jacket because I thought it looked great. So love that. Love that. Looking good. Got to represent. Thank you for noticing, Big Bot. So let's get into it. Speaking of Peanuts, Super 7 does some good Peanut stuff too. But let's talk Super 7. So we'll start with this. So this was found recently at a Target in Louisiana. The second wave of the Super 7 blind boxes have started to show up. And this one, the first one really, like the first wave was really kind of them repacking their Super 7 reaction stuff and selling them blind boxed at $11.99 a piece. These ones here at least are a little different than what they've done before. This time around, it looks like they're going with a more toy accurate and deep cut kind of color schemes. The Sound Blaster is slightly different than the individual carded Sound Blaster they did. This one's more toy accurate. The Megatron is slightly pulling from like a coloring book coloring. The Optimus Prime again is going for like a toy accuracy with a little bit of that back of the box art. The Grimlock is the Diaclone colors. And then the two Chase ones, which are on the top right here, again, no one has come forward yet. I think it comes from an old not a coloring book, sticker book cover from back in the day for the Optimus, just the way the face was colored. I still can't pinpoint it out because I can't find that coloring book I'm talking about or that sticker book. And the Megatron, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something on that one. Maybe some really obscure Ladybird coloring book. I mean, the guys at Super 7 are hardcore fans. They always pick weird coloring and weird throwbacks to stuff. And that's why I kind of love that company. If their prices weren't so crazy, but I love what they do. I love what they do. They're great guys otherwise. I don't know which Target, Patrick Brown. They just said it was in Louisiana. There was a Target in Louisiana that had the case of Wave 2 showed up. So I wish I could tell you more. I'd have to check the sighting, and maybe they'll give us a specific Target on this road here. But unfortunately, I do not know. I just know it's Louisiana. So maybe check your local Louisiana. I hope that, now that I think about it, the individual that reported this actually had photos of the case, but I don't know if they bought the entire case and brought it home and took those photos, or if the photos were them, in the store. So that's actually an extra layer to that too. What's up, Ninjatron? So either way, it's out there. If you want some Diaclone Grimlock love, that's probably the best part of this case, in my opinion. Nice little throwback to the old blue crotch Grimlock from back in the day. Even comes with a silver sword, which even continues that legacy, as opposed to the red sword. So very cool. Then going into Blokees. So we got a lot to cover with Blokees. Of course, just this past Wednesday was their Global Partners Conference, where they were going to pretty much be showing off all the different licenses that they were going to be having for late 2026 and going into 2027. And Blokees secured a lot of stuff from Hasbro, a lot of stuff from Mattel, a lot of stuff from Bandai. And they're going to be pumping out a lot of affordable model kits across all kinds of different brands. Barbie, Mega Man, Fast and the Furious, and Star Wars. It's just that I could go on and on and on. There's a lot of stuff that they have, but on the Transformer side, we're going to go through all the different price points here from cheapest and smallest to largest and most complicated. And first we have here, of course, their Wave 3 of Blokees wheels. Of course, we cracked open Wave 1 on a live stream. Go check that out if you're interested, if you are. Again, the wheels line is their 1/64 scale die cast stuff. I already put Hot Rod in the display, but I got my good old Mirage here also, on there. So this is their 1/64 scale. So again, that Hot Wheels kind of scale and stuff. And they're kind of going outside of, what they were doing before. They were going for a little more IDW and a little bit of G1 before. Now we got some War Within, so that's some Dreamwave love with the Grimlock here. The RC is still leaning more on Generation 1. Same thing with the IDW Drift, which is, again, this Alex Milne alt mode with McCarthy. And then, of course, we got the Wreckers alt mode of Springer to complement the Wave 2, which has the car mode. So we don't know what the others are going to be. Traditionally, the Blokees wheels come in cases of 12 with 2 chases. So we'll find out what the rest of the car modes are. But nice to see War Within, because that's a much more slept on line. You can barely see on the side here. This is the alternators display, because not alternators, the titanium's display, and you got the Grimlock right there and some of the others from back in the day. They always chill in the background because I love Don Figueroa's work with that line. So very, very cool. So check that out. Then we got the Defenders line. Now the Defenders line is these guys here. These small little ones here, little SD scale. I wish I could show you something that could, well, here, we'll use Micronus just to show you how tiny they are. Micronus is supposed to be a tiny deluxe. This guy's even more tinier. So that's their more SD scale, probably the most simple of the model kit assemblies outside of the wheels line. And they're going to be going into Beast Wars. So that's really cool. More Beast Wars stuff. Last Wave gave us some Beast Wars love with Primal, Megatron, Cheetor, And now we're getting some Beast Wars 2nd, Beast Wars 2 on the Japanese side of things. So we got Lio Convoy and Galvatron 2 there representing. Again, they usually have 9 other designs. We'll see what those 9 others are when the time comes. And it'll be very cool. I'm going to take a shot in the dark. The chase will probably be like a green Lio Convoy, repaint, or Shining Lio Convoy, or Galva Lio Convoy. They're definitely going to do something with the Lio Convoy for sure. Bruticus, how you doing? Tom Laney, what's up? Ashnud, how you doing? And Transformatics. But yeah, check that out, yo. And then we got the Galaxy Edition. Now, of course, Galaxy Edition. Let's bring out, again, scale for you guys. So here's the little hot rod. The Galaxy Edition is obviously slightly larger. This is about a 4-inch, 3 3/4, 4-inch scale. And they're going to be doing the 10th wave of the Galaxy version. This is going to be called Galaxy version 10th wave till all are one. A lot of movie representation here in 1986 season 3 stuff, if the Optimus is any indication, because a lot of people look at the Optimus and go, "Oh, that's dead Optimus Prime, right? Death of Optimus Prime." I don't know, with that Quintus on there, that could be Return of Optimus Prime, could be. But either way, we got Rekgar, we got a Galvatron that's rocking much more his Call of the Primitives kind of styling. And then we got a Rodimus Convoy, Rodimus Prime, with a very Studio Ox kind of look to it, especially if you know how the spoiler is supposed to be with the Studio Ox design. And we got Trailbreaker, because we got to finish those 1984 85 Autobots across the other waves. So that's nice to see him too there to complete it. And hey, if you want to make a connection, I mean, Trailbreaker, aka Trail Cutter, was the debut of the Rodimus Star in the IDW books. So there's that too. So looking really good. Looking real good. Then we got the Champion class, which unfortunately I don't have an example here that's on my desk. I do have a box of it, but that won't really help you much. The Champion class are, now you're going from much more simple model kit assembly to stuff that is on sprues, and they are usually between, on average, 5.5 inches to 6 inches tall. It really depends on the character. Obviously, Bumblebee, you could see there from the Bumblebee movie, and the Optimus from the Bumblebee movie are significantly different in size, but they're probably both going to be in that $19.99 to $24.99 price point. I imagine the Bumblebee will be $19.99, the Optimus will be $24.99, $25. And yeah, so these are something that are a little more delicate on the model kit thing. You gotta take them off the sprues, you gotta assemble them in halves and stuff like that. Much more of a traditional model kit experience if you build Gundams, or even your traditional, like, cars and planes and stuff like that. They are still snap fit. They are still easy to assemble and pre-colored. So don't worry too much about that. But that is the next in the Champion class. And these are the two that were revealed there. And then lastly, we have the Action Edition. And the Action Edition, do I have the Optimus nearby? Oh no, that's already in the display too. Darn. So the Optimus, which was the first one, showed us that Action Editions are much like the Champion class, but much more complicated. They have LED lights. You install a battery. Again, not crazy complicated, but maybe it's just from my 30 plus years of building model kits, but definitely something that that is a little more on the upper scale of model kit building, but still very cool what they're doing here. They're going to be doing a Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime with Star Saber sword. I don't know where the LED lights are going to be, probably in his eyes. It would be cool if it's in the sword, but it's going to probably be in his eyes. And then we have a Optimus Prime version 2.0, as they call it here, which is very much leaning into what the Style Gen MPG is doing with the shoulder cannon, the shield slash axe going on. So very interesting choice of design, but it's very different also from a proportions compared to their version 1 that they started this Action Edition line with, that which much more, robust. I don't know how to explain it. Blocky, I guess, is the better term. But it's still something where, it is what it is. Fawn Art says champions are still pretty simple. Oh yeah, I feel that. Look, especially for me, I feel that they're still pretty simple. But I from personal experience, of building Gundam model kits from SD all the way to perfect grade. It's something where I've tried to introduce people to model kits, and I've seen varying results of, you know, dare I say, I wish I could show you guys one moment. Let me just grab one of them right here without making a mess, and that fell over. Well, that's the end of that. I had a stack of these. Oh, well, I'll have to clean that up after. But I had a stack of the Blokees model kits because I'm saving them for a Gunpla meetup. But the champion editions are pretty, they're pretty straightforward. I wish I could show you. They're very glossy, the boxes, but they're very simple. But I find that when you're trying to introduce people to Gunpla building in general, um, I wouldn't use the champion edition to start with that. Champion edition, champion class. I'm thinking Street Fighter, but I wouldn't really use that to introduce people. I would start them slow with the early blocky stuff and get them used to assembly and everything like that. And then, they'll buy a nice nibber, little cut. And I suggest a God Hand. That's the name of the brand that I use for cutting stuff off of sprues. Getting filing, all that stuff. That's kind of like the next level. Again, I did a panel, I think 2 years ago at an anime convention talking about how to get into model kit building and stuff because it's touch or go. Even her, she wanted to build an Evangelion, and I was like, okay, some of those kits are simple, the high grades, but some of them could get a little crazy too. So, and I saw even through her, it's a learning experience for some people. So, champion class is kind of like where you would start with sprues and everything like that. But I would suggest, getting a few blockies, getting used to assembly for especially the Galaxy versions are kind of that first, like, here's assembly without removing it off of sprues, no sticker sheet kind of stuff. And then you work your way up. You work your way up slowly. I don't want people to dive into an action edition and then have a bad time. I've seen a lot of half-built model kits of people that get frustrated. I know to seasoned Gunpla enthusiasts that might sound crazy, but I've seen it many times. Many, many times. But yeah, so that's kind of the way I've always seen it. So that's it for the blocky stuff. Again, the action editions in general are usually $39.99 to $49.99. It really depends on which distributor you go with. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I imagine the Optimus and the Optimus 2.0 here, Prime and 2.0, will probably be in that 39 to like 42 kind of range, if I want to say. And Mick Tanky's coming in with the 50 super members, and here they all come. My goodness. The question is, did Ninjatron get one? Did Ninjatron get one? No matter the cost. Did Ninjatron get one? Ninjatron, did you get one? Is Larry in the chat? Did he get one? Oh, one of the Hasbro guys got one. No matter the cost. Can't say who. Look at all of that. Thank you, Mick Tankies, for once again hooking up a bunch of people with YouTube membership. Gifted, if you will. And you did, Ninjatron. What is going on? I think there's a setting or something that you have set. No matter the cost. You are rebelling against the machine. Thank you for the super chats, Mr. Mick Tankies. So then, that's it for the action editions. And again, Blockies is going to be doing a lot more announcements over the next couple of weeks because there is going to be a lot of pre-orders that are going to be popping off and stuff. So it's going to be pretty nutty, to say the least. Especially when it comes to just like even the Mega Man stuff. Stay tuned for that. Joseph, how you doing, Joseph? Survived TFCon. Jaws D is dead to us. Jaws D was extremely busy that weekend. A lot of people ask me, they're like, how come you don't really do TFCon staff stuff anymore? I'll tell you, I do TFCon staff stuff at the Toronto show. Why? Toronto show is smaller. I have a lot more free time afterwards to do things. I do the charity auction, which already is insane in my opinion. Just that Friday alone with the charity auction burns me out. So then Saturday, Sunday, I could chill. TFCon LA to do staff stuff. Are you out of your mind? That show has 8,000 people. Like, I don't need to deal with that. I have comic books to sell. I got stuff to do. I got people to meet. So Jaws D is still part of the staff and working his madness. And good luck to him. That's his choice, not mine. I love Jaws D. He's a lifelong friend since grade school, but it's madness to do TFCon LA as a staffer. It really is. It really is. But yeah, you survived TFCon. You did very well. You did very well, my friend. You did very well, but as expected. Now onward to San Diego Comic-Con or PAX if you want to do that madness again. I was invited to come to PAX, but I don't know. I'll see how I feel. I'll see how I feel. Let's get into some others. Let's get into some other news stuff because we got a lot to cover here. Let's go with Takara-Tomy and their Twitter account. So they revealed some teasers now in full color of some upcoming pre-orders that are going to be happening April 3rd, which will be a Transformer Friday in Japan, but it'll be a Transformer Thursday for us late in the Thursday. So first we got MPG 23 Secret Agent RC. So what this is essentially they're using the coloring from the prototype RC from 1986, and Yuki Ashima and Sakamoto-san put together a manga that kind of added character and story to this coloring, referring to it as her early days as a secret agent for the Autobots to give context to this deco. And now that there's context to it, now they're going to do a masterpiece version of it. Now, we don't know if this is a straight up redeco of the MP51 original G1 RC. We could see thus far it looks like a straight up redeco, but we don't know if there's any extras that are unique to it. Maybe a unique faceplate, because the original came with 4 different faceplates, a unique head sculpt that might be swappable. We don't know. New weapons. We will see when that comes. But again, MPG 23, Secret Agent Asi. We will learn more about it, pre-orders and everything from Takara on late Transformer Thursday on April 2nd. Otherwise, Japan, Transformer Friday, April 3rd. And the big one, really emphasis on big one here, is of course the next in the Transformers New Legends line. Transformers New Legends is a Takara exclusive line, kind of going back to the Transformers Legends line that existed from Takara before, which celebrated, of course, welcome Eyes on Ace as a YouTube member also. Celebrating previous tooling that Hasbro and Takara have done, but giving them premium paint schemes like they did with the Legends line before. They already did the Lio Convoy in green to represent the legendary Lion Lio Convoy from Beast Wars 2nd. And now we got NL02 Stunticon Menasor G2 version. And not on my bingo card of how they were going to put out this complete guy, because we technically got Shadow Strip, which was G2 in flavor. Then we got Dead End from the Toxitron collection, which was G2 in flavor, 100% right down to the deco. And then we got the G2 Breakdown from Legacy, and that was definitely G2 in coloring with the new head sculpt. But we didn't know, how are we going to get, more importantly, how are we going to get that centerpiece? Commander classes, that's pretty tough for Motormaster. And, at some point we'll get Wild Rider, we were going to assume, as a deluxe, somewhere. But I think the consensus probably was like, by the time Wild Rider comes out, by the time Motormaster comes out, there would have been such a distance of time from when that Shadow Strip came out, and Shadow Strip already was difficult to get, maybe because the Toxitron collection stuff, because it was Walmart exclusive. So Takara's like, screw it, we're going to do a box set, and that's that. And in all honesty, from what I could see already, it looks really good. I like that the Shadow Strip, aka Drag Strip G2, has the proper coloring with the G2 logo on the front. The dead end looks more or less exactly the same like the Toxitron one, unless I'm missing something. It's the same silver windows. It's the same deco on the side. Again, it's hard to tell from this image, but at the end of the day, look, if they could keep this, like under $200, it'll be awesome. It'll be great savings and people will dig it. And again, it'll have that premium deco on there, which usually, not always, but usually the budget of retail deluxes for Hasbro cannot pull off. So we will see on April 3rd, but excited about this one because we all know the history of G2 Menasor. He never happened, and he got little things here and there in the modern era, but now he will be done proper through Takara here, and it's looking good. It's looking really good. Then we got to talk about something that has been a little divisive from the fans. We have here the Transformers icons. This is Optimus Prime transforms into the Autobot emblem. A interesting idea. It's been done before in the past in different shapes and forms, be it, the watch transformer that was a face to a Autobot emblem, or we had the little AM radio transformer that was a little Autobot emblem that opened up and it had Optimus Prime's face in there. And then, of course, we had the Recon emblem, which was from BotBots that was transformed into a robot. But now we have Optimus transforms into an Autobot emblem. This is supposedly a Voyager price point. And my big concern, more than anything else, is the pricing at $46.99, $47. Now, this is probably, by the time this guy is supposed to come out in August of 2026, I have a feeling that this is Hasbro's preemptive planning for what the Voyager MSRP will be. Don't quote me on it, but I get a feeling that that's going to be the case. There's oil problems right now going on around the world due to political stuff, and I get a feeling that this is probably going to be the case of that. Look, it's kind of cool. It's, to me personally, it's just not $47 cool. It is what it is. It's a pretty simple transformation for a very novel idea. I mean, in all honesty, this thing could have been a deluxe. It didn't have to be a Voyager. I think they wanted it to be a Voyager because they wanted it to be as big as possible, but still be not like crazy expensive, like a leader. So they could still like, oh, it's a Voyager. That's kind of what our crossover stuff kind of like, a lot of our collaboration items, range in that Voyager kind of scaling. So this is kind of one of those pseudo collab items in a lot of ways. It exists outside of continuity, just more of a fun item. And yeah, again, I get it. Just think I'm gonna wait. This guy kind of gives me the clearance kind of vibes a little bit. And we'll get into clearance stuff in a moment, but this definitely gets into the clearance kind of vibes. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. No one has come up and mentioned this. Maybe someone in the chat could. I understand that the gun is going for the ion blaster of Optimus Prime, but what is it also homaging? Because there's different visual veneering elements on it. Am I missing something? I went through my archives and I'm like, is this trying to be something else? Is this trying to look like Vector Prime's, Minicon mixed with it? Safeguard? I'm trying to see what they were going with the gun because it has very different visual elements than even what I could pull from my own archives. So, but yeah, interesting to say the least. Obviously, Megatron is going to be next with a Decepticon emblem. But I mean, if this thing goes on heavy clearance and it's Optimus Prime, whew, let's just hope Hasbro already did the Megatron, because otherwise they'll put the brakes on that real quick. So it is what it is. I mean, this is something, in all honesty, they didn't even need to do this through Hasbro. They could have got due to the simplicity of this transformation, this could have been Super 7 that could have done this, or Todd McFarlane. This could have been a licensor that could have done this. But again, I'm hot and cold on it a little bit. But outside of that, let's talk about something that was exciting, really exciting, super exciting. Where's my Beast Wars love? It's the 30th anniversary of Beast Wars. Well, bam, get a load of these apples. We got the Beast Wars 30th anniversary Predacon multi-pack book box. Oh me, oh my. Now, from what I could tell, because lighting could be a factor. It's hard to tell sometimes. These look like more or less trying to go about the decos of the Beast Wars Again premium finish Takara 2-pack line, which was very well received, probably the best way you could own any versions of those Kingdom molds, or in the case of the Tarantulas from Legacy. But my goodness, if they could do this and keep this because let's be real, what we're looking at right here is 1 leader class, 1 Voyager class, and 5 deluxes. If they could keep this under $250, have that premium paint scheme on it, because that's my other fear, because this is really outside of the typical the typical Hasbro budget of paint deco hits. And then that fancy box that clearly, judging by the art on that box, is going to be accompanied by another crew of characters running from the other direction to, match the art on the cover. This is going to be really cool. This is going to be really, really cool. And what I like about it is because I never got the Beast Wars Again Inferno. I wasn't able to track down that one on the cheap, that 2-pack, which I believe came with Rat Trap. Who did that come with? Was that Rat Trap or Inferno he came with? I think it was Rat Trap. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. But I never picked up that pack, but I wanted to pick it up because that would be my definitive Inferno, and then I could use, because I have Kingdom Inferno, and I want to use Kingdom Inferno to represent Scavenger, because when I got that Antagony set, it came with that Scavenger head. So like right now, my Beast Wars Inferno from Kingdom has the Scavenger head on it. So this could be my true Inferno, and it's the closest we'll get to a Masterpiece Inferno for the time being. Came with Air Razor. Okay, thank you, Ninjatron. So it's like, it is what it is, but this is fantastic. Like, if they, first of all, full transparency, Beast Wars is easily my favorite Transformer series of all time, just because it was the best written, it has the most history, it has the best voice acting. Again, I love G1. I grew up on G1. I love the 86 movie. Hot Rod's my favorite character of all time. Heck, my top 3 favorite Transformer characters of all time don't have Beast Wars characters in it. But Beast Wars would easily cover all, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because Megatron and Dinobot and Rat Trap and Waspinator and Tarantulas and Primal, and they're all amazing. Cheetor, how could I leave out Cheetor? They're all incredible. So I think this is insane. I think it's amazing. If they keep it under 250, it's a day one purchase for me. I won't even think twice. And then when we get a Maximal box set, I won't even think twice, because the Maximal one is definitely going to be a lot more Voyagers. A lot of the Maximals fall into that Voyager price point with the Tigatron, the Dinobot, the Rhinox, and then you got Primal. So there's no need for a leader in there, but they could balance the budget in other areas. You got a core class in there with Rat Trap. So I'm stoked for this. I am super stoked for this. I have a theory that this might be our Transformer Tuesday pre-order drop. The fact that we're getting all these images here, this is probably something we're going to be pre-ordering ridiculously soon. So stay tuned for that. Very excited about this. And man, looking good. Looking real good. Looking real good. See, James, that's the thing. With MSRP, yeah, it would be $247, but my concern is the deco hits. That's the problem. It's MSRP based off of current MSRP from Hasbro if it's their deco budget. The problem with retail deco budget is it's not good. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at 2 cents a hit in the Vietnam factories through Jetta Plastics. Maybe we can count that small little one on the transformation cog thing. In the back there, you guys can't see it, but there's the Beast Wars Telemocha line where they just slathered a bunch of paint on them. I wish I could show you guys the Tigatron. The Tigatron is insane. The Cheetor is insane. They put like $18 of paint on them. And it's the same thing with this line, is they put tons of paint on it. So I'm like, man, I don't know if they're going to be able to justify MSRP per unit. It would be great, though. It would be great. I mean, like I said, if they keep it under 250, I'm not even going to think twice. Not even going to think twice. But man, these look really good. These look really good. Love me my Beast Wars. Love it to death. So we will see. We will see. But good stuff. Again, probably this Tuesday. Someone at Hasbro is going to have to step up. Someone in the chat, perhaps. Either way, and that's it more or less for the news. We got some stuff that we got this week, but first we're going to cover some sponsorship stuff. And then we'll talk about what we got. Just two little things. Excuse me. And then we'll just take some super chats and just enjoy the rest of the evening. Wouldn't be surprised if it's $299. Well, man, that'd suck if it was $300. That's something where it's like, ooh, that's going to be a tough one. But let's get into our sponsorship first. Symbiote Studios, plush, pins, t-shirts, and more. They have their new collection up. Pick up Swoop. That's the most important one of the dealio. Swoop is up on the website. You got your delicious Catnip Bravo Starscream on the website. Catnip Bravo love. You got your shoulder sitter Laserbeak, #1 selling item at TFCon LA, sold out on the Saturday instantly. Then people asking, hey, do you have it? Hey, do you have it? Sold out, sold out, sold out. Sold out at San Diego Comic-Con. So get yourself a Laserbeak shoulder sitter before they're sold out online. And then, of course, you got Swoop, complete your Dinobots, all looking good, and much more at Symbiote Studios. Go pick up your plush love of the robots in the skies. Also, the Autobot pillow was almost sold out at TFCon. Was surprised with that one, too. Get yourself a nice Autobot pillow. Looking good. And, of course, all the others. My Little Pony. If you like your ponies, if you are a brony, go check that out. And their expanded pony collection of pins. And, of course, Magic the Gathering. I was happy to see some Magic the Gathering pins were selling TFCon weekend. People will be like, all right, I'm going to get 4 pins. I'm going to get an Optimus. I'm going to get a Grimlock. And I'm going to get a Swamp and an Island. And I'm like, nice. Someone's playing Demir, if you know what I'm talking about. So very, very cool. Check those out, too. Their Magic the Gathering collection. Got to get me a set of these in the near future. Thank you, Symbiote Studios. Go check them out, symbiotestudios.com. And, of course, let's talk about the Toy Armada. Drum roll, please. The latest segment dropped yesterday. If people realize there wasn't a Transformer Slag podcast segment on Thursday, because I was working hard at this one, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer, our latest segment, we talk about 20th anniversary, 20 years ago, 2006. We talk about the development and creation of the most important Transformers line as it pertains to the modern Transformer toy aisles today. Transformers Classics. We break down the original 6 and how they were developed. We had behind-the-scenes photography, sketch images, designs, prototypes, great stories. Check that out. Learn about the original 6 of Bumblebee, Starscream, Hot Rod, Astro Train, Optimus, and Megatron. How they were developed, all the cool guys behind it, and what its true purpose was, because it wasn't meant to create this crazy main line that we have today. It had a much more subtle, almost modest origin that would just fade into the background. But you can't deny destiny, and destiny it was. T-Formers 2002, Maximals will be more higher size classes. Oh, totally. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of Voyagers. Whole bunch of Voyagers. So we'll see how that one goes down, because it's only Cheetor and Air Razor that are deluxes, and the core is Rat Trap. And then it's just Voyagers to the sky. And then again, imagine taking those Voyagers and putting that crazy Deco rollout on them. So, but check out the Toy Armada. Once again, if you follow this podcast, go check out that one too. You'll hear me and Aaron Archer talk about the robots in the skies. We put out a new format. We have like much more visuals, and you get to see our faces and stuff, and fun stuff. Check it out, yo. Check it out. Then we got some new Posca paintings. Aaron put out some new Posca paintings up on his website, archermonster.com/shop. He has an animated Soundwave that's up. He has a classic Soundwave that's up. We have a Ironhide from the movie. There's a whole bunch of new ones that were just added. There was some other ones that were put up, but they sold out very, very quickly. The Classics Thundercracker disappeared. There was a few others that were put up, so grab them while you can, guys. I mean, when I do this slide for the podcast, I always worry that I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this slide. And then like an hour later, like 2 things have sold and this slide is pointless. But yeah, this is what's available as well as a whole bunch of others on archermonster.com/shop. Go pick up an awesome Posca painting in the tradition of classics because we have the classics segment from Toy Armada. Aaron did a beautiful classics Rodimus for me. Look at that one. See, and they're all certified by Mr. Archer on the back, signed and everything. There's a good old classics Roddy for me from Aaron. Looking good. Thank you, Aaron. So check that out. Again, archermonster.com/shop. Own a one of one piece of Transformers history on the original 15 to 20 to 25-year-old instructions of a classic character. Get them framed, check them out, hang them on your shelf, and be proud. Be a true Transformer fan. Check it out, yo. And again, got to promote myself too. Might as well. The latest comic of Mega Man is out. Amazingly, I haven't talked about this yet publicly, only talked about it privately. We just got the numbers for Mega Man issue number 0 from January, because now we have the final numbers because you have to factor in digital, you got to factor in a whole bunch of stuff. We ranked in the top 150 in the world of comic books that month. It was absolutely crazy. We beat out, I wish I had the full list in front of me. We beat out Spawn, Marvel books, Batman books. We beat out everybody. And it's thanks to you guys who showed up and celebrated it and picked it up. So it's absolutely insane. And because of how successful that book was, we were the, like, imagine if you looked at the listing, I'll probably post it somewhere because it's more like, insider stuff. But if you saw, it's all Marvel and DC stuff. There's the odd Image book in there because of Transformers and G.I. Joe and Spawn. But there's Udon, and it's the lone Udon Capcom book in there that we worked on, and that's insane that we made it into the top 125, which is crazy. Going up against some big heavy hitters. And it's thanks to you guys who supported it and everything. Issue number 1 already had insane sales too. I can't wait to see those final numbers next month. And again, issue number 2 had crazy pre-order sales. It's out in stores right now. We got the Alex Milne cover on the top right there. We got the Edwin cover in the middle. We got the Atomic Marshmallow cover, the Waifu cover on the bottom right. We got the Chamba cover, which is the Nintendo cartridge, Super Nintendo cartridge on the bottom left. And we got the awesome Hanzo cover on the top left there. Again, check it out, yo. Mega Man. Been writing it for 6 months now. Hope people love it. At least the sales have been good. So thanks for all the love and support. And again, we've still got much more to come when it comes to Mega Man and a lot more announcements. But stay tuned for that.
The cost.
We got a super chat from Rodimus Supreme for $5. Leakers on TFW 2005 stated that the Predacon pack is going to be $219.99. Well, I hope that's true. If that's true, that's fantastic. Again, I kind of wait until there's the final answer because sometimes the leaked information is incorrect. But if it's $220, sold. Sold. I don't buy a ton of retail product because of how overpriced it is. But once in a while, I'll splurge on, I was going to say splooge. Oh, I'm definitely splooging. Giggity. But I'll definitely splurge on something like this for sure. That would be great. But yeah. Then we got Brainstorm 2002 with the YouTube member question, wish the Predacon set came with a golden disc. Well, I mean, there's a few different ways to get golden discs. How did I get that one? I'm looking at one right now. Was that from Dinobot? The Dinobot, Masterpiece Dinobot come with the golden disc? I know that the golden disc 2-pack with Pterosaur, the golden disc collection, the Pterosaur had a golden disc. That Dinobot, I believe, came with a golden disc, the Masterpiece one. I think there's one other golden disc, but it was done through the Unicron.com brothers. I have that one too. I have that set up there. But I think that's it for golden discs. And that one was done through Fun Publications. You could buy it through their web store of the Transformer Club back in the day. You got both golden discs and die cast, and then you got an interchangeable hand that could go on your Beast Wars Megatron, the Transmetal. So, oh, the Ark had a golden disc. That's true. That's true. That's probably also in my Ark up there. Because I know, but was Dinobot the one that came with the golden disc? Because I'm looking at my Masterpiece collection. The golden disc is just like sitting on a coin display, and I'm going like, where did that golden disc come from? I don't remember. I know the Pterosaur did. So the Ark came with one too. That's correct. That's correct. It was inside the alt mode. But mine is just it's in Arc mode on display. So, but was it Dinobot that had the golden disc also? Where did that golden disc come from? There's the banana box that came with Primal. I know that much. It was Masterpiece Dinobot. Okay, just making sure because it's a very large golden disc. But yeah, so check that out. Alden Tolbert with the $5 super chat. Imagine if Waspinator secretly gave G1 Megatron a blueprint to destroy Dinobot without Barney and the Preds knowing. Well, here's the thing. If Waspinator secretly gave G1 Megatron blueprints to destroy the Dinobots, that would be a major continuity issue. And then Waspinator would probably not exist because if he is truly Shrapnel Decepticon hero, as his statement said, not 100% confirmed, but if it is, that might cause a bit of a continuity snare because the Insecticons were a mysterious third faction that just kind of showed up in the cartoon, and they tried to retcon and explain that it was built by the Decepticons, and then they went rogue. That was in later supplemental material. So if the Dinobots were destroyed and then the Decepticons win the war, the Insecticons might not have been born. And if the Decepticons were not built, then that means if Shrapnel is Waspinator, then Waspinator would have not existed. It's convoluted. But yeah, that's the way I see it. But yeah, so there's the comic stuff, and that is that. Before we get into more questions, we'll just talk about just what we got this week in a microcosm. Just two things. Last week, T-Formers 2002 informed me that he wanted this bad boy. Apparently, we had an entire peg of them just sitting in our Walmart in Canada, specifically Montreal, Canada. So I picked up one for him. So there's that I picked up. Not for me, but for him. But the thing I picked up for myself, I was waiting for this guy to go on sale. So Costco had what was called the Ultimate Class Bowser. It was this huge Bowser figure from Super Mario. It was $80. And I'm like, I know how Costco is. There's always, I go to Costco every single week and I always check the toy aisle. And there's always this window that opens up where they put an asterisk next to the price, which warns them that there's only a week left that this item is going to be on shelves. And in that asterisk, every Costco, it's always different, although online they'll have a standardized number. They blow out the item. If you go on their website right now, it's 50% off. But if you go to specific Costco's, some are more desperate than others, depending. I picked up this $80 massive, giant guy here for $20 Canadian. This giant sucker, bad boy Bowser. This thing weighs a ton. Lights and sounds, breathes, craziness. So $20 Canadian. I can live with that. Ugh. They did a Princess Peach one. They did a Mario one, but the Bowser one was the one that's big and expensive. So go check out Costco's website. I believe he's standardized 50% off right now if he's not sold out. But if you go in person to your local Costco's, they might even be cheaper. I'm seeing some reports of $15 Canadian, which is insane. That's like 15 Canadian is like $9 USD for that thing. So check that out. Check that out. So yeah, Ninjatron, if you have access to a local Costco, and what I would recommend, go ASAP, because what happens is here's a little Transformer Slag podcast Discord exclusive in our sales. How it works is Costco will always have, I wish I had an example to show of a photo, but they always have their price tags, right? And what happens is if ever you see their price tags, they have a little asterisk in front of the name of the item. That means that that item's on its way out. And when it's on its way out, Costco has pallets of this stuff. They have to move it. And they will literally every day. So the first day, 50% off. The second day, 60% off. The third day, 70% off. The fourth day, 80% off. Like they just, until it goes away. Because Costco already is a closeout store. They have nowhere to put it. So they just want to get rid of it. So they keep lowering it until it goes away. And I'm just saying, go get it while you can, because there's going to be some lunatic. Trust me, when I left, I said to myself, maybe I should have bought a second one. But they're so big. Like, no joke, this thing didn't even fit in the trunk of my car with my groceries. That's how big it was. I had to go in the back seat. So I was like, oh, I probably should have bought a second one, but I'll leave it for someone else to enjoy. And hopefully it doesn't get abused by the market. But yeah, got that big sucker. That was my big purchase of the day. Didn't get any other Transformer stuff. My Transformer aisle right now, outside of, no joke, like outside of this guy, like Optimus of this, Cyber Shark. I keep calling it Skybite, Optimus, Snarl. There's plenty of Snarls and Swapticons, and then the odd Age of the Primes. My Transformer section has been liquidated because of a recent deluxe class sale that they did. There's like nothing left. So I'm kind of waiting for a restock right now to get new product of anything I might be interested in. But I picked up again Mirage for T-formers, and that's about it. That's about it, really. Nothing of interest. She bought some Lego stuff. What did she buy? She bought some Lego stuff, and she bought, what else did she buy? I know she bought Lego. There was some new Lego polybag stuff, although now they're in paper bags. But she bought that and a few other things. I forget what else she bought, but it's funny. Every week we always comment where I always say to her, I'm like, you're always the one she ends up buying more toys than me. It's kind of funny. And junk food. She's a junk food fiend. Where me, I'm like, eh. Oh, what we did buy, I probably should have brought that down. They did a special collector's edition Lucky Charms Super Mario movie. So we bought that just to try it. Extremely unhealthy, but it had a cool box. It was all like glimmery and stuff. So if you go to your local supermarkets, Lucky Charms is doing a Super Mario Galaxy movie special edition. I probably should have brought that down too, but kitchen food. Media Max, what's up? The YouTube member question: we ever gonna get a Beast Wars HasLab? That's a tough one. Like the problem is like, you have to have this balance of, is it an item that they could justify doing that'll hit enough numbers to make it get backed? Is it an item that is big enough to then justify it, as opposed to like, don't give us a bunch of deluxe classes that could have been retail? Because when you say a HasLab Beast Wars, it would have to be the Ark, not the Ark of the Axelon. It would have to be the Dark Side. It would have to be the ships, because what else could it be? But then again, if it's the ships, why not just make it Titan class and make it retail? Why make it a HasLab? Why are you doing that to us? HasLab should really be these big bombastic items that you can't do for retail. And Beast Wars, I'll be honest, everything that Beast Wars is could be done in retail. Tripredacus, Magnaboss, don't make that a HasLab, make that retail. And even if it was a HasLab, how many people are going to get a Magnaboss or Tripredacus as a HasLab? Like, that's a tough one. Like, if Unicron barely got across the finish line, and all the others have really been FOMO, because that Unicron went for crazy money, and then people thought Star Saber was going to go for crazy money, so they bought like two of them, and in the end, he ended up not going for crazy money. You get like 0.5x out of a Star Saber. You don't lose money on it, but you definitely to take $200 and give it to Hasbro for a year and a half, and then you made $40 in the end flipping it. I would put it in a stock. Any stock. Put it in some Nintendo stock. That you could get for $150. And you get more than $50, I'll tell you that much. You know? Like, just look at Nintendo stock. It always creeps up a little bit just due to inflation. And I always use Nintendo stock as like it's the safest stock because it always goes up slowly. It always does well. You're not going to get rich on Nintendo stock, but it's a good place to park your money for safety in a lot of ways. But yeah, I don't know. I do not know. Like, Beast Wars would not be one I'd want to do unless they do Majin Zarek, the big Beast Wars second, aircraft carrier demon transformer. But it's so obscure that no one would back it and it wouldn't do well. So just do Primus already. What are we doing here? Do Primus. I understand they're going to probably do Landcross. They're going to probably do Road Caesar if they're continuing the trends from Transformers Victory characters. But just do Primus. Let's rip that Band-Aid off. Find a good year. Do it. It's the 40th. It's 86 movie. It's Primus getting beat up by Unicron. Come on, man. Come on, man. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. But yeah, that's the way I see it. The first geek says, I think Hasbro could do a limited run deal where they did with Marvel Legends, like Dragon Man and Mephisto, and I believe they did that with the animated Sentinel. They did that also like a limited run, and they did that also with the snow his tank. You know what? Look, there's no more rules when it comes to HasLab. We used to think there was rules. We used to think there was some kind of like sanctimonious protection of it, but nothing surprises me anymore. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they come back and they take the Unicron that they did, they do a black repaint and they just dumb it down a little bit. Like they do less. They don't include that like that big stand that Unicron came with, right? Let's say they nix that completely. That's like $40 of plastic right there. That's gone. And then they get rid of all the little tchotchkes that came with it, the little ships and stuff like that. That gets rid of another $5. You got rid of, $45 from that. So now it's down to like, what was it? Like, it'd be down to $500 or something, So, and then they'll do, Unicronian, Micron Legend Armada version with a new head sculpt, and then do that. Who knows? Who knows? Different tooling. Wouldn't surprise me. I know it sounds crazy, but it wouldn't surprise me at this point because there's no rules anymore. But again, give me Primus. Let's be real. I don't think Victory Saber should have been a HasLab. I think that those could have been two separate products in retail. I don't think, Deathsaurus is a little more weird. Deathsaurus is a commander class of the Siege era. Like if you look at Deathsaurus and if you've ever messed with Jetfire from the commander class of Siege, they have that same budget. Now, granted, it wouldn't have had the seat, the throne. It wouldn't have maybe some of the little extra stuff like the death metal gun, but I think it could have also been a retail item with the same price point and stuff. But of course, the way that we're getting diminishing returns when it comes to plastic to costing, that's a whole other different conversation. But it's like some of those, it's just, Omega Prime, really? Omega Prime. That could have easily been two Commander figures. And that would have sold millions of units because it's an Optimus and an Ultra Magnus. That did not need to be. And on top of that, all the drama associated with it after the fact, which probably would have been figured out in factory assembly. Goodness. So HasLab, I'm hot and cold. I'm always hot and cold with it. Because I look at what the other brands get for HasLab, and they're a lot more logical in like some of that stuff just doesn't fit in a Walmart shelf. But here it's all stuff that I could see on shelving. And that's always a problem. That is always a problem. Here's the thing. Omega Prime wouldn't fit, but the individuals would. The individuals would. You take the Optimus RID from Omega Prime and you put it next to the original vintage one. It's smaller. So if they were able to do RID in retail in boxes. You know, let's be real. Let's be real. Gigatron, same thing. Like, why would you do Gigatron as a HasLab? Why would you do Gigatron as a HasLab, though, Big Bot Bodega? Like that, what is that? That's a Commander class size item. At most. At most. At most, that's if they really want to go all out. It'll be a command. Then just make it a Commander class. Put it out there in retail. And the thing is, you put it out there in retail, and guess what? It's going to cost the Commander class price point. But we have something called a Hasbro HasLab tax, which is, oh, hey, this is supposed to be a deluxe, and it's deluxe sized, and it's deluxe priced, and it's deluxe painted. Well, now it's a HasLab. So now it's not going to be $27.99. It's going to be $34.99. That's the HasLab tax. They make a new number up, and then they put in all these extras that, yay, I got extras, but it's going to sit in the box. How many people are using the intergalactic Cybertronian road with their HasLab Omega Prime? How many people are using that throne for their that Deathsaurus? I am, because I'm trying to make the best of my items, so he's just kind of sitting on it. But there's so much extra that just doesn't get used. Just doesn't get used. Let's get into some of the other questions and super chats. Manning Fresh, how you doing? Manning Fresh with the $5 super chat. Good evening. How you doing, sir? Do you think Hasbro will do Studio Series Unicron for the 40th anniversary of the 86 movie? Think about buying HasLab version. Would wait. That's all I'm going to say. I would wait. Hope that answers that. Draco Rex with the $2 super chat. Are you hoping forward to any particular repaints? I mean, there's a bunch of redeco ideas that I'd like to see done that haven't been done yet. Dragon Megatron Beast Wars into Cryotech. Why hasn't that happened yet? We have a slew of Mirage molds that we've gotten through Siege and Earthrise and 2-packs. I'd love to have a red repaint into the red Ligier from the Diaclone era. You kind of stick it anywhere, create it as a character. Put number 27 on the side. There's a few for sure that I'm just kind of waiting on. Where's my gold repaints of any Rodimus mold into Primus? So there's a few already, but those are just a few for sure. But the Cryotech, I'm surprised it's taken that long. Really have. So thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Ashnud, it's more retail passing on it. Just looking at the Dragon's Zord getting past to retail. Well, that's different. Power Rangers, I can speak from experience from working when I was doing Combiner Wars stuff with John Warden. There was the whole Power Ranger acquisition that was going on with Hasbro at the same time. And it was because Power Rangers had a really volatile space to retail kind of situation. And that was Bandai of America, who was about to go at that point. Now we don't have a Bandai of America, but that was like they were on their dying days, which is, look, they lost Brian Goldner, who was their golden boy. He went to Hasbro. He became their CEO, and they just didn't have good leadership there. And when they did the Legacy Collection, if people remember the Legacy Collection of Power Rangers back in that time, specifically like 2016-ish, 2015-ish, again, when I was first developing Combiner Wars copy, they were not in a good place. They really weren't. And they were on their way out, and they were making product that was way too big for the shelving. The beauty with Transformer product is because it transforms, it is malleable. Every Transformer toy we buy is now like half transformed or like semi-transformed or in a vehicle mode or in a robot mode. They always figure out a way to make that box work for retail. It's like, oh, hey, let's pull this here. Walmart's like, hey, man, we are going to get an exclusive subline. Could we get something that's a little more space conscious because we're doing something with what other brands? We're going to be doing something with Marvel. We're going to be doing something with Star Wars. They look at the SKUs, and Walmart always dictates the shelving space. It still is. Could we do something that's more like this? And that's what happened there. That's why he was like this, you know? That's all decided like that. So it's something where they could have figured it out. They could have. If something is a weird size for them, they move things around. I mean, let's be real. The whole reason why we got bubbles back on the packaging wasn't because Hasbro all of a sudden decided to not be environmental. Oh, it's for the environment. We got to save the environment. Do they have it on here? Oh, made out of recycled paper, you know, for the environment. No, it wasn't. It's to save money. And then when retail complained because people were stealing heads and stuff and pieces, they reversed course. And Amazon was not happy about it at all. So, the first geek, I never understand why Polar Claw got scrapped. Oh, dude, I love Polar Claw. I love Polar Claw. Polar Claw had a PVC figure, his original toy, and that is it. So, and a trading card, if you want to count the mutating card game. I would love Polar Claw to make a grand comeback, a giant polar bear transform. People have to understand polar bears are huge. They're bigger than any other bear. Like people don't realize just how big those suckers are, because we always see them out of context because they're always like you see them in the Arctic, so you don't have scale. Like there's no trees next to them, there's no nothing. You just see them with a red face after they gored a seal or something, you know. But Polar Claw would be awesome. That'd be so cool. And even have Polar Claw and have him have the mutant head. Have both heads. Like have the red mutant head face and then have like that more Polar Claw face that he had. And have like the bat gimmick. You could call the bat Primal, a little primal bat. I don't know. That'd be so cool. Got to make that happen. Got to make that happen. Then you could do all the repaints. Barbarian, Survive, I think that's a Grizzly One. That was the prototype name. Grizzly One, Barbarian, and Survive. The 3 different brown bears. You know? Do those. Goodness. Great stuff. There you go. Yeah, see? Survive, Grizzly One, Barbarian. I think there's no others. That's it after that. Yeah, it's just those 3. One was a BotCon Japan exclusive. I think 1998. Something like that. But yeah, I mean, I'd be down for that. That'd be really, really cool. Big Bot Bodega. I'd like to see Beast Wars, Starscream, and BB. That one I could see. We had a homage to those guys on a few different occasions, both in the movie line and a little bit in the Generations. And I'm surprised they didn't go that route and do those redecos. Specifically because like BB is also the ATB Megatron, which is also the Dreadwing. And Starscream is also Starscream with the ATV Megatron, and Smokescreen, aptly named Decepticon Smokescreen. Confusing, I know, in G2. So I'm surprised they didn't go that full route, because they did kind of go the full way with the movie ones. Anyone knows Japan did some exclusive decos into the Dreadwing and the Smokescreen, and they just never did all those colors after the fact. They could have like went full in, but I guess maybe sales speak. So, but yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. There's a lot of great ideas. That the beautiful thing with the Transformer brand is there's thousands of decos, thousands of characters. Everyone has a favorite that they would be so excited about. Like there's so many times where it's like I'll never forget. Like I was at BotCon. God, what year was that? BotCon 2015 or 14. I think it was 14. I think it was 14. What was the year that was at? There was one that was in San Diego. It had those funny hotels. I think it was 14. And you have the product preview panel, as they call it, the old tongue twister, the Hasbro product preview panel. And I remember when they announced that Cosmos, the old Cosmos figure that was like a part of the Legends 2-packs. Like, we're going to be doing Cosmos. And the audience lost it. It's like, oh my God. They were like shaking each other in the aisles. Like, oh my God, Cosmos. And I was like, wow, like people really like Cosmos, like to the point that they were losing their minds, And it's like, there's always someone that's super excited about something. So it's like you could take Cosmos, then you're gonna, we're gonna do the Pathfinder repaint. We're gonna do we're gonna do an unreleased G2 colors, and we're gonna do this, like we're gonna do the GoBot, e-hobby colors and the Pathfinder colors and the unreleased G2 colors, like all kinds of wackiness. And there's always someone that's going to be excited about it. So, and me who appreciates the deep cuts. So, T-Formers 2002, wanting a Flash Lyo convoy. That's a tough one because it's like it's funny every time I see translucent now done as an exclusive, it's always like a small price point. It's funny, like the past couple of years, it's been like, oh hey, let's do a translucent of this core class and make it a magazine exclusive or like a mini con exclusive. Like a lot of the translucent stuff has always been kept small. And I think a big reason for that is to do OPEC plastic in general is more expensive. So I think they want to always keep it more cost effective. But I mean, a Lyo convoy, clear plastics with the golds and the silvers in that clear plastic with the spark speckles, if you own the original from Beast Wars 2, if you're channeling that one. Um, it's just something where it's like, man, how much would that cost at a Voyager price point? You know? That'd be wild though. The first geek, I need Machine Wars. Oh man, I would love Machine Wars. I would love to see Megaplex as a character come up again because he was mentioned in debuts in Machine Wars, and it's like, oh, he's a clone of Megatron, but he thinks he's the leader, and so it's this interesting character. Then he got a nod in the reissue line of commemorative series Takara book box stuff, where it's like, oh, the blue leg Megatron, that's Megaplex. He's a clone used to protect, as a decoy and blah blah blah. And that was the last we heard of him. And so it'd be cool to see Megaplex again in any shape or form as a character. Because I like the idea of Megaplex. Like, it's just cool. You have Megatron, then you have Megaplex. And he's kind of the same, but he has a different deco, and obviously you have the Machine War set and stuff like that too that they did through Bakon. But like as a character again, like a new fresh take, be cool. With all the redecos and stuff that we have of Transformers, I'm surprised Megaplex hasn't come up. Obviously, it's probably for a trademark reason. They just don't have a trademark currently, but I would love to see that. Draco Rex with the $2 super chat. When will the second Timelines 2026 pack drop? If you're referring to the Starscream one with the Boar Optimus, we don't know what's happening with that yet, do we? That's something I imagine probably by the time we get to San Diego, that'll all be wrapped up. Because I know a lot of times they want to have a lot of product released and ready. That way, when they do San Diego Comic-Con, now their store is like stocked with like unique items. Because the Hasbro stores at San Diego never really carry vanilla stuff. They usually carry like, oh, here's all these unique items, and unique exclusives, and we're carrying this and we're carrying that on top of the San Diego exclusives and stuff. So I imagine they're going to want to have a good stacked amount of stuff in the barrel, for lack of better words. Like I imagine, I know this sounds silly, they'll have like the NFL stuff there probably, or whatever. Maybe that emblem if it's revealed if it's released before then. If the Autobot emblem thing is out before then, So if the Starscream and the Optimus is already shipped, then there you go. There you go. So then it's probably already ready to go. Already ready. So the B and the Megs, same thing. Same thing. He's referring to the B and the Megs. Yeah, it's the same thing. If it's something that I imagine they're going to already want it probably out by then. Because every San Diego, when you go in the back room, you see that there's like a huge lean on like all these crossover items and weird retail items that don't really usually have a place. And that's like perfect for a San Diego Comic-Con where there's an excessive amount of for a lack of better words, impulse purchases. There's a lot of times that people like they're going around San Diego and they're like, oh, I got $40 left and I want to buy something special, And so then they go to the Hasbro shop and there's those unique items. Before San Diego, BotCon was known for that too. BotCon would always have like excess inventory of like unique stuff. I remember late power core combiners. You can't see them, they're kind of down here. But they would have like late power core combiner stuff that was kind of tough to get. So they'd get cases of that for the BotCon store on site at BotCon, or the Fun Pub store, whatever you want to refer to it as. So I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. Lizard Sphere X, Blokees could do Action Masters easily. Well, to be fair, what is Action Masters today? The term Action Master refers to a non-transformable transformer that has a transforming buddy, you know, that turns into their weapon. That's the closest that you could define an Action Master, where like this, it's a non-transforming transformer, but it doesn't have a transforming buddy with him. So kind of like a target master is a transforming transformer. What makes it a target master is he has a gun that transforms, so into a robot. That's what makes it a target master. So same thing, an action master is more than just the non-transforming ability. That's the big mistake a lot of people make. Oh, it doesn't transform, it's an action master. Kind of. Halfway there. Halfway there. Draco Rex with the $2 super. Chances of a D16 Studio Series figure. I imagine, like, because Hasbro, let's be real, the list of movie characters is shrinking and shrinking heavily. And I refer to all the Michael Bay stuff up to this point. 86, yeah, you could throw something in here and there, but Studio Series at the end of the day is truly celebrating theatrical movie stuff. That's why it's like, how many G1 characters could we squeeze in there from 86 movie? Okay, how many do we have left of characters that we can do of the Michael Bay stuff? That's also shrinking. It's a short list. I think I did a segment about it like a couple years ago, talking about like, here's what Studio Series hasn't done yet of Michael Bay movie stuff. And it was a very short list. So it's something that outside of like, oh, movie concept and, gamer edition, like, outside of going to these other segmentations within Studio Series, there's very little left. So they're going to have to lean on more Transformer 1 stuff. It would not surprise me if at some point they figure out a Jazz. It would not surprise me if one point they figure out an RC. It'll be movie concept Jazz, and it actually has an alt mode. Like they'll do something like that. And guys like D16, I totally see that. D16 transformable, and not their precog versions, obviously. If you want a precog version, I would suggest like YOLO Park or like Blockies to get like your best like scaled non-cog, non-transforming version. But transformable D16 for sure. For sure. They're going to do it. All of those. They have to at some point because they're running out of characters very quickly. Very, very quickly. Every single wave of Studio Series is 4 Deluxes, 2 Voyagers, 1 Leader. And you paint yourself into a corner every single time when you're thinking of what you got to do that's going to be unique. And Studio Series always has to continuously have waves, just like Mainline. So it's got it for sure. Big Bot Bodega, I really want Shattered Glass Devastator. Oof. Well, the Medical Devastator, while it is cool, it's a tough one. It's like, where do you put that? And is the numbers there to justify it? Because good old Tonkinator, the G2 Devastator that was called Tonkinator, did not sell well when they reissued it. So we could see that a G2 colored Devastator rebranded as a collaboration character went on clearance. Man, did that go on clearance. So I don't know. A medical colored white and red with some blue accents and golds of Devastator, marketed as an Autobot version, sold as a gift set, sold individually. What store or retailer is going to want to carry that? That's a big risk, you know? It's a pie in the sky, great idea. Oh, it'd be cool to have, but the product sometimes is the problem itself. I mean, it's like, hey, you get it, and then you're gonna be like, yay, I got my Shattered Glass Devastator, followed by, oh my god, every time I go to Walmart, all I see is Devastator Shattered Glass limbs because they don't sell. Oh man, my Walmart sucks because it never gets new product because it's stuck with all that Shattered Glass Devastator limbs. So you almost create a problem that you're not even thinking about. Like you end up creating a problem for yourself. So it's a tough one. Um, where are we at here? Tom Laney, anyone here the next generation's trilogy will be based on? I'm hearing Age of the Primes too, but that's obviously a prototype name. So that's definitely a prototype name. See, and if it was a box set Big Bot Bodega with the Shattered Glass Devastator, it's like, okay, are we talking the G1 mold, which again had a difficult time moving, went on clearance as a regular one, went on clearance as a Tonkinator colors? Are we talking doing a box set of Devastator? Oh boy, that's a risky one. And then is that going to be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive? Oh boy, that's going to be a risky one. Let's put it this way. Let's see how well that G2 Menasor does. If that G2 Menasor completely craps the bed for Takara, then Shattered Glass Devastator is out of the question, you know? Because I think a G2 Devastator has less of a chance compared to even a Motormaster, a Menasor G2. Menasor G2, Aerial Bots G2, they have a little more, for lack of better words, equity, where unless you were reading the Fun Pub comics, not many people know G2 Devastator. If anything, people would be confused by it. What happened to Defensor? Why does he look like that? And then they stop squinting their eyes, and it's a whole other story. You know, I don't think the Tonkinator didn't do well because it didn't have G2 markings. It's something where it just didn't do well. The original Devastator G1 reissue didn't do well. It went on clearance. I was seeing rows of it at Walmart on clearance. Gosh, what was it at? $25 Canadian. So if G1 Devastator doesn't do well in its classic colors, aimed at that mainstream audience that remember that combining construction dude, any other color scheme is just going to be diminishing returns from there. So it could be a whole other animal. It's a tough one. These are discussions I have all the time, where it's like there's a lot of social science there and business side of it that conflict, where it's like, the old saying, be careful what you wish for, because it's like, oh, I want to have this like crazy weird, like the best example, right? I wanted Override, right? AK, I wanted my modern Nitro Convoy. I wanted a modern Nitro Convoy. They gave me a modern Nitro Convoy. And then she ended up being a clearance nightmare. And there was tons of them along with Road Hauler forever. Tons of them clogging the shelves. Now I was lucky because that piece of shelving space was reserved and segmented for Walmart's exclusive assortments. So I wasn't taking away shelf space from whatever was mainline at the time. I guess in this case, beginning of Legacy, going into Legacy Evolution. So I wasn't taking shelf space from that or peg space. I wasn't taking Studio Series space. I wasn't taking mainline at the time Cyberverse space. It was its own segmentation, Walmart exclusive. They paid for it up front. It's their problem now. But imagine if I wanted that bad and it was a mainline thing. Nitro Convoy was mainline, sold poorly, and now is clogging the shelves of what would have been Legacy Evolution. And now your other Walmarts have so many Nitro Convoys or overrides that they're not going to pick up the later Legacy Evolution assortments because they're still with the old one. Be careful what you wish for. Sometimes it doesn't work out for the best. And then you end up complaining, oh, my Walmart sucks. It sucks because of something you wished for. You know, happened many times. Uh, Horned Owl, I got Tonkinator for $20. Well, there you go. I think that's what I paid too, Horned Owl. I think it was like $15 or $20. So cheap. So cheap. Because no one wanted it. And the original Devastator. No one wanted it. Tom Laney. I think combiners are more desirable when you're forced to complete on your own money and time. Yes and no. Hasbro tested different things with this. At one point, they wanted to see if you release all the combiner limbs at once, would people buy all the combiner limbs at once to combine something? Then they tested during Energon. Yeah, if you could see some of them over here, specifically the Devastator is getting covered a little bit by the bar. Devastator Maximus, as they called it. Ugh, those names. But they just with those, they're like, oh, let's release 2 limbs in one wave, then 2 limbs in another wave, and then the centerpiece in the wave after that with the deluxes. That kind of had a hit or miss success. It's something that sometimes you do have the people that want to complete it, but then there's that one limb that ends up being ridiculously expensive, and then it just makes the whole house of cards crumble down because you can't predict distribution. Wave 1 does well. Wave 2 does less. Oh, the last limb is in wave 3. Oh no, the breakdown situation, where breakdown was going for like crazy money at one point. Like I think like $60 for a deluxe or $70. So it's a scary one. Box sets are asking a lot of retail to invest in shelving space, and it's asking a lot of customers to make that one-time purchase. It's a lot easier to buy a $5 coffee every day as opposed to taking your whole months of coffee and having it all dropped in one shot. It's like, oh, hey, like I buy coffee once a day and it's $5 a piece. So that right away has it at $25 a day. Monday and Fridays I have off. And there's 4 days in a week. So that means I spend $100 on coffee a month. It's like if you do it $5 a day, not a big deal. If all of a sudden it's like, yeah, drop $100 on the beginning of Monday of the beginning of the month, people go, oh, like, the retail logic. And again, it's the same cost. There's no difference there, but the purchasing audience has different muscle memory when it comes to spending money, and they're not smart about it. Let's be honest. They have different ways. That's the old saying. That's why it's $14.99 and not $15, because they see the $14.99 and they still think it's $14. And that old trick still works too today. That's why Big Bot Bodega didn't donate a gold super chat of $9.99. He donated a super chat of $10 to get the gold. Thank you, Big Bot Bodega. $10 super chat. Hasbro could do different decos and make them HasLab like, made to order, perhaps. Only, whoa. You cannot do 100 to 500 made. I'll get into that in a moment. At least you could hang your hat on something rare like comics with ratio covers. Okay, so when you are pressing a mold, okay, in a factory, this was a huge problem that Bakon had. Huge problem. Okay. And then it's also what led to the OTFCC going bankrupt and the Hallett brothers and the Hartmans going to court and me having documents in the mail because of it. That's a whole story. So the problem is that when you have a mold, we're going to go with redecos, not making a brand new tooling. The tooling already exists. Here's the mold. Let's grab Shockwave here. Okay. Tiny little core class, right? In order to commission, keep in mind, Hasbro does not own the factories that Transformers are made in. They are commissioning a factory, a plastics injection molded factory that has employees in Vietnam, training those employees for assembly of the product, training those employees for deco hits and manufacturing. They have to do all of that. Now, they're going to do that if it's 2,500 units or more. They've even moved away from that. It used to be less, but during the BotCon days, it had to be 1,600. And that's why a BotCon box set would be $300, even though imagine back then, and this is like the old MSRP, you'd be getting 4 deluxes. How much are deluxes back then? 10, 10, 10, 10. That's $40. And then you get 1 Voyager or a Leader. And then it was a $300 box set. Obviously, the math doesn't add up there, but it was because it was limited. It was so expensive to make these because to get the factory workers to do that, to have to reserve the space, to have to do that, to have the new injection molding, the less amount that it is, the more expensive the individual unit is. And to do 100 of a unit, if this shockwave was fired up, hey, Jetta Plastics, I'm going to use the Chinese factory back in the day. Jetta Plastics, we need to take this shockwave. We need to do them in 6-shot colors. Deep cut, Energon, 6-shot, which is like a brown tan and everything. We need to do this in 6-shot colors, and we want 200 units of these made. This core class that would have been an MSRP of, well, at one point, $10 would be like $40. It would be a $40 core class. That's how expensive it would be, because the more you manufacture, the less the individual unit cost is. And it's like that with anything. The more books you make, the cheaper it is. So to do 100 to 500 units, you are making a deluxe now $100. You are making now a leader class, oh my God, like $250, you know? So it's very dangerous when you start reducing the units and trying to create a false scarcity as a result of that. Now, the flip side is people are going to say, oh, what about a lucky draw, Protoman? That's different. That's Takara going, okay, we're doing a magazine thing. We're only putting out 5 of these. So we're going to like press 5 of these in chrome and that's it. Very specific example. I wouldn't be surprised if they get part 1. Part 1's the people who do e-hobby to do that. Like they're not bugging the injection factories for silly things like that. That's something that's done almost on a garage level. That's why a lot of lucky draws, I wish I had some of them close by to show you. The boxes are simple. They don't outsource to Longueuil, Quebec to do the box design like they always do for everything. You know, Longueuil, Quebec for packaging and everything, and Vietnam for assembly. They just do a white box. And then the instructions that are included are literally the pre-existing instruction of whatever that mold was based on. You get Lucky Draw Primus, the gold Rodimus one there, Rodimus G1. It comes with the instructions for commemorative series G1 Rodimus in English, even though it was a Japanese Lucky Draw. They just went with what was available, you know? And it was a white box with a sticker put on it, on the front of it, of the flap. They keep it simple. They keep it simple. It's when you get into the specifics of the money and the manufacturing, it gets really hairy. It gets really hairy. That's why this goes back to what I'm saying again, why I'm not a fan of HasLabs being items that could be retail. Because if it's retail, they make millions of units. Every Target, every Walmart, every mom and pop toy shop, every diamond distribution, like it's going to be everywhere, Walgreens and everything. So there's so many of them out there, and they're not just buying one cases, they're buying tons of cases. I always give the example. What is there? There's 3,000 Walmarts just in the United States. There's about 2,700 Targets just in the United States. So assuming every single Walmart, every single Target, we're not talking anything else. If every single Walmart, every single Target just bought one case, and usually cases have 2 of a character, we're going to play devil's advocate. There's some cases of one per character. Then that's already 10,000 units across Walmarts and Targets of one figure. 10,000 units. So that's already way more. And that's if they only bought one case. You know they don't buy one case. You know it's not just Target and Walmart. You're talking tens of thousands, 50,000, sometimes 100,000. Then we're talking Japan. Then we're talking China with their imports. Then we're talking Europe. Then we're talking Australia. Then we're talking Canada. Million in some cases. Million. That's why you end up going to an Ollie's and there's like thousands of these guys in the core class. You can't do the 100. You can't anymore. Those Bakan days were skating on the razor's edge. And that's why today we don't have that. Today, we don't have these like crazy exclusives that they only make 1,000 units of them. They end up doing like a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive that has like 3,000 units. And then they go, well, we just took a bath on this, every single time because they overcharge it. No one buys it. I was watching pallets and pallets lifted by forklifts of Jetfire Void Rivals going back to the shipping yard. Just pallets of it going past the Symbiote Studios booth. Oh, here's pallets and pallets of what was the GI Joe? Oh my God, the Dreadnought band. Oh my God, I'm blanking on them. Cold Slither. The pallets and pallets of Cold Slither. Beep, 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 giant forklift. Pallets of it, of unsold Cold Slither. Just going back to the shipping yard to get on trucks to go back to Hasbro's storage yard. It's tough. It's tough. You're skating on thin ice with that stuff. You're skating on thin ice, you know? So it's a tough one. Oh, what's up, Young? Young, I had a chat about those special editions and let's just say special packaging, minimum order 5. So Young, who's in the chat, works with China. He does model manufacturing and stuff. Young is a guy, he knows his stuff. Minimum 500 orders. Young knows what's up. Like they'll fucking kill you. Some swearing. They'll kill you if you go like, oh, we need 100 units. They'll kill you. Young knows what's up. And I'll be seeing Young very soon. We might be taking a trip soon. So imagine how expensive it is if it's a special colorways. Yeah, of course, dude, of course, 100%, 100%. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Like that's where it gets dicey. That's why I like with Unicron, HasLab Unicron. I firmly believe in my soul, and I will fight people to this day. I don't think that thing got backed. I think that they didn't do enough units that made it worth their time, and it scared the crap out of them that we've never seen anything like that since. And I don't think we'll see anything like that ever again because it was just like, oh my goodness. And the shipping logistics, like it was just, oh gosh. If you have Unicron, kiss your lucky stars. If you don't have Unicron, get him while you can. He is going to be this white, like I get a feeling us Transformer fans, when we're old fogies in our 60s, 70s, and 80s, although there is some I know that are in their 60s right now, I apologize. But Unicron is going to be this like holy grail. Like anyone who has one, and anyone who doesn't is just chasing him, chasing Moby Dick, hoping to get him one day. Hoping to get him one day. Yeah, man, Japan, very soon. That's again, little spoiler, we're probably going to end up in Japan in the next couple of weeks. So the podcast might suffer for a couple of days. Quick little business trip, little back and forth. But yeah, Jetfire is still available. Oh Lord, is that true, Ashnud? Oh my goodness. I'm looking at mine right now. Shout out to Emily from Hasbro Pulse. She's like, do you want this Protoman? I was like, Emily, it's missing the comic. I'll get you, because it was like damaged. I was like, I'll get you a comic, and I got a stack of the comics. Do I still have some of those comics left? I don't know. I should bring those to TFCon. That way people could get them. But anyways, and so she gave me one for free. And that thing took so much space in my suitcase. Do you know how many things I left behind that I regret now that I probably could have figured out a way to bring? Like there was just so much. That the fractured friendship 2-pack, I could have gotten that for free, and I was just like, no space. No space. No space in the old suitcase. Media Max, but Proto wasn't HasLab Unicron poorly timed. Oh, dude, there was a lot of factors. There was a lot of factors with HasLab Unicron. I do agree. Doing it after TFCon was not a smart idea. But then they increased the window. They gave it an extra 25 days. That didn't help much, but it was a tough one. If they do a Unicron, if they do a Primus, they need to like warn people in advance. Because another problem with HasLabs is like when they reveal it is the day when it opens up. It's like, here's the HasLab and it starts today. And it's like, hey everyone, here's the HasLab. It's going to be expensive. You have 30 days to buy it now. So here's the dopamine hit. You haven't paid your credit card yet. Have fun. Shit. You know, it's like, it's not, you can't do that. You have to show Primus, go, hey, we're going to do this date. Start saving up. MFers, start saving up. You know, that's the best way to do it. Let people know. It's kind of like when they, oh, here's a masterpiece and here's the pre-order date that's going to be happening. Start saving up. That's the way to do it. And masterpieces cost as much as some HasLabs. So how come Japan could go, hey, here's a $250 item that you're going to be spending on, but hey, we're going to give you like 4 weeks before we even do the pre-order date. So little things here and there. There's Hasbro people in the chat. They'll take it back to the guys in the ivory towers. I understand marketers, designers, they don't make those decisions. They're just as frustrated as I am sometimes when it comes to that. These little discussions that we always have. But bring it up to the guys in the ivory towers who take care of that and go, hey, dude, XYZ might work better. Alrighty, we have 9 minutes left. Oh, crap. Where are we at here? Love a HasLab Fortress Maximus. Retail. How many people would just like to have a reissue of Fortress Maximus done a little better? And it would be retail. Be better that way. You know, give us a proper Brave Maximus, which in my opinion is the best colors on that Fort Max mold, because it has the nicest city mode, the beautiful lights in the towers. Make it huge. Well, if Unicron couldn't get off making huge, giggity, then I don't know. Tom Laney, maybe give us 3 months teaser. Yeah, give people time. Look, I'm well off. I don't worry about my finances. But if you're talking Protoman when he was working at Burger King and you gave me 3 months, that's great. I could pull that off even at a Burger King salary. Because when Bakhan used to tell me a year in advance, hey, we're going to be at this city next year. In 12 months, we're going to be in this city. That gave me 12 months to save up for plane tickets, save up for hotel, save up for packages, Bakhan packages, and a little extra to have some fun and feed myself, you know? So it gave me time, and that was on a Burger King salary, making minimum wage, yelling at people in the drive-thru. So if I'm able to do that, if you give people 3 months, that gives them 1 month to pay off their credit card, 1 month to start putting money aside. And, oh, maybe I don't have to hit Starbucks every day. Maybe I don't have to go to McDonald's. Put that money aside. For the guy who really wants to go the extra mile, okay, I'm going to eat ramen noodles for the next 3 weeks. You know? But it's better to do that. It gives people an opportunity. But unfortunately, it's like, here's our new HasLab, and pre-order starts now. You got 30 days. Start running. Start running. What? You can't afford it? Well, it's not made for everybody. And then people get frustrated. You want to avoid frustration, and you want to make money. I understand that. You want to make money as a company, but you also want to avoid frustrating your customers. You know, you don't want, but the sad thing is that you have too many customers that go like, you know what? I'm never going to buy a Transformer ever again until the next one. It's like, I am never buying another Studio Series toy ever again until the next one. It's like, they unfortunately have that luxury that the fans are like that. These prices are too expensive. I'm not buying anything ever again. I am out until the next MSRP price increase. And then they come back. So, yeah, Ghostbusters, I guess maybe, but the Ghostbusters crew is different. It's not the same team. You know, that's why I said, like, look at how they handle all their other HasLabs. All their other HasLabs make sense. They're all premium items that really don't belong in a retail space, and they make sense. Except for the Tron one. That was disgusting, and don't you dare ever do anything like that again. The Tron one was probably the most disgusting thing I've ever seen them do. That was an insult. I love Tron as a brand, and that was disgusting what they tried to pull off. That was $100 at most of product, at most. And I'm being nice because it could have been like $70 of product. Disgusting. Those people who are working on shame on you. Shame on you. I hope you were fired, and I hope that you get a job working at some crappy company where you're mistreated for your stupid ideas. You know? Terrible. Terrible. Big Bot Bodega. Hey, food is temporary. Transformers are forever. Comes in, comes out. That's what I always say. Comes in, comes out. When I was at BotCon Disney, in order to save money, I was eating ice cream every day. Why? Because that was the cheapest thing you could buy at Disney. Hot dogs, $11. Pasta, $47. Sushi, oh my God. There was people who went for sushi, and when they told me what they spent, I wanted to slap them. What were you thinking? $490 for all you could eat sushi. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Good Lord. Good Lord. Yes, it's all you can eat sushi. That's one meal. You're going to eat all you can eat sushi, and then you're going to get hungry again in 8 hours. That $800 ain't coming back, you know? Well, not 800, it was 400, but that $400 ain't coming back, you know? You know, you could have bought with $400 back in 2010. I don't know, Atlas mint in box, Star Saber mint in box, Grandis. You put maybe an extra $100 for Grandis, but Grandis mint in box. It was insane. Disney is a ripoff. I don't want to go on a tangent for a second. I'm going to Japan soon. I was talking to a friend, and they were talking about how it's actually cheaper to go to Disney Japan than it is to go to Disney America. Disney America is so expensive, you're better off going to Disney Japan. Now you argue, oh, the plane flight, Protoman. The plane flight might be expensive, but when you look at the grand picture things, like going from your state to Disney, Florida, okay, yeah, state to state, $200. But then when you get to Disney, hold on to your balls, Mickey Mouse. You know, I'm not a fan of Disney personally. So that also is a little bit of a bias, but good Lord, so expensive. So expensive. And that's why they never did BotCon at Disney again. Because even Scott McNeil coming to the bar. All right, let's drink, guys. Nope, bar is closed at 5:00 p.m. Oh, what? Okay, so then let's get booze. Nope, you're on Disney. You can't get any booze. You need to get off the Disney resort. Okay, well, could we buy booze and then bring it back? No, you can't bring outside drinks and stuff like that. Oh my God. You know, it's like, yeah. So even the guests were furious. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. People snuck in chicken nuggets. Thank you. Thank you for sneaking in those chicken nuggets. But yeah, insane. Anyone who's ever gone to Disney recently knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's insane. So overpriced. So overpriced. Big Bot Bodega Universal is where it's at. It's where it's at. It's all the better stuff anyways. And Transformers. And it's got Nintendo. So it's got all the best brands. It's how it should be. Patrick Brown, I'm planning a trip to my family of 5 to Florida Disney. Oh my God. That can't be true. $5,200, and that's just hotel and tickets. And that's not the plane flight, and that's not the food to feed your children. Oh, Lord. Patrick, here's what I want you to do. I want you to kiss your wife on the forehead. And I want you to tell her, honey, we're not going to Disney. Okay? I'm taking that 5,000 and I'm investing it in the S&P 500. And then next year we'll have increase in money in these hard times, and then we'll go to Disney. Oh my God. Oh gosh. Why? You raise Disney kids. You're going to make them poor for the rest of their life. Do yourself a favor. Never show them a Disney movie again. Because if they become a Disney adult, that's the end of their life financially. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's insane. I'm going to Japan and it's not even a fraction of that. And that's an experience that'll stay with you for the rest of your life. Oh God. Just the food. The food alone. Oh God. By the end of your weekend, it's gonna be like $7,000, $8,000. Oh yeah, look, hey, it's your money. It's your money, brother. It's your money. It's just that as someone that helps people with finance stuff, I don't know your financial situation. Maybe you're balling, brother. Maybe you're balling. You got all the money in the world. Then hey, enjoy it. But too many times the people that I work with are not in the best financial situations. They are one paycheck away from the rest of their life being ruined. You know, I'm lucky. I'm lucky. Good paying job, very smart with money, had good literary money education at a young age, get to have a nice house, nice car, nice job. I was lucky, but a lot of people were not lucky. And it's just something where I always try to help my friends. I've had this conversation with tons of people. People that in this chat that they know these people. I don't want to name names, but I don't want to make them look bad. But where it's like I got to show me 3 credit card statements, show three bank statements. I need to see what your weekly life is because some people are very irresponsible with their money. $10 for a bottle of water. Well, that one actually sounds cheaper than what I was expecting. $20 for a bottle of water, something I live off of. You know? Yeah, man. Imagine you're a kid in Disney. You get like bottles of water for cheap from Costco, and then you just show up at the front gate of Disney, sell them at $10 a piece, and hustling. That's how it's done, yo. That's something I would have done as a kid. But yeah, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. You know, it's something where again, you just have to make sure that for people here that are parents, that you teach your kids good financial literacy. Like I hate going on that rant every time, but it's so important because I have personal friends that are just effing terrible with their money. Effing terrible. And they are 2 paychecks away from eating cat food. It's so bad. So bad. But that's the world in a nutshell. Speaking of water, what's for dinner? So, Costco we went to, and when you're at Costco, oh man, you gotta have the pizza, you gotta have a hot dog. So we went for pizza this time. So we each had a slice of pizza. And then we went to the supermarket today. We did our grocery shopping. I picked up cheap steaks. If you're going to be eating the steak the same day that you buy it, always get the steaks that are on their way out. They're always 50% off. So we had 2 nice round eye steaks. I think they were like $6 Canadian, which is like ridiculously cheap because they were 50% off. So we had steak, we had yams, also known as sweet potatoes, we had broccoli, and then for dessert, we had absolutely delicious. We had a key lime pie that we bought from last week. So that's what we ate. All the basics, especially sweet potato. Sweet potato is so good for you. Young, you know me. We're gonna have a 13-hour plane flight. It's gonna be a lot of talking. It's gonna be a lot of talking. On the way back from Japan one time, um, I was wearing my Subaru jacket, and the guy next to me, it was a white fellow. He went to Japan for a car meeting with a manufacturer. He didn't want to say which manufacturer it was, but it was for a meeting for car development. And I swear to God, for those like 11 hours that we weren't sleeping, we were just talking car manufacturing. Like everything from the death of the electric car to how the electric car is used today to the gas industry to like we talked for 11 hours straight about and then Lou, who was like one of our travel buddies, Lou was like 3 seats ahead of us. He's like, dude, I heard the whole conversation. The whole plane heard the whole conversation for the 11 hours because it was just us going back and forth. It was like a podcast, and the whole plane was just listening to these two guys who work in the car industry just talking about conspiracy theories and, oh, this is why they got rid of solar roadways. Google that if you want to learn about solar roadways and how you could have saved the electrical industry. You know, like it was hilarious. Like we were like a podcast on a plane. It was so fun. And you guys know how I am. I don't shut the F up. So, and then I'm with this guy who was like, coming from a manufacturing company, and he went to Japan. I think he was Toyota, just a hot take. I think it was a Toyota guy, but he saw my Subaru jacket, which was all from like, car stuff. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. But, but it was just funny because you could see that everyone stopped like watching their screens. They started listening to us. It's so funny. So fun. Real talk. The toy armada was born out of me and Aaron sitting at TFCon in the lobby, talking back and forth about the industry, manufacturing, prices, costing, all of that inside baseball stuff. And no joke, I kid you not, a semicircle of probably 30 people watching us, just like as if it was like a panel, but it was in the hotel lobby at TFCon Toronto. And then Aaron joked, he noticed, like, oh wow, look at all these people. And he was like, this is like we're doing a podcast. And that's how that happened, you know? A live stream from the plane. You know what? It was something where because already I get a special, where's my phone? I get a special plan for my phone for Japan. That way I'm able to move around. It's something where if I wasn't having such a good time and the time zones weren't so weird, because that's another problem too, is the time zones. Like, when I'm sleeping, you guys are awake. When you guys are sleeping, I'm awake. I would do something. I would do something, but the problem is it would have to be somewhere where I'm not being evasive. Japan's a very private, society. The hotels I'm in, you can't be loud, you can't be streaming, you can't be on your phone. You know, I did a FaceTime with my wife from the male lounge, like they had separate lounges. So the male privacy lounge, and I only did it because no one was in there. I woke up early in the morning, I went for a little tea, and then I was in the male lounge. Because no one was in there, I turned on the little FaceTime and I showed her the male lounge. Oh, here's how it looks. Oh, you get all you could drink soup and tea and blah, blah, blah. And that was it because I couldn't do it in my hotel room capsule because you're disturbing people. It's razor thin walls, you know? So it's a tough one. I don't want to be one of those live streamers that goes to Japan and makes an ass of themselves, I want to enjoy the moment like I always do. And even though I've been there before, it's enjoy the vacation. Too many times when I go to TFCon, I always tell myself, man, I should just like record the room. And I've been to how many TFCons? I don't know, 30, you know? I've been to like no joke, like gosh, how many TFCons I've been to? Yeah, probably 30. Probably 30 TFCons if I really sit down and think about it. Gosh. Yeah. 2007, no, 2006, not counting BotCons, just TFCons, 2006, never missed a year. And then there's the USA ones that started in 2000. Yeah, it's over 30 at this point. Oh my goodness. But either way, and I keep forgetting to record the dealer room. When the dealer room is empty and it's just the dealers and I could do I want to record, show the cool stuff. I never have time. I never have time. I go into that dealer room. I'm talking to friends. Oh my God, Arthur, I haven't seen you forever. Oh, Azusa-san. Oh, Jason. Oh, like all these people that I haven't seen forever. So I get to talk to them. And you know me, I'm going to talk for like 15 minutes, talk to this person, talk to that person. Before I know it, the day's done. I'm enjoying my time. I'm enjoying my friends. I'm enjoying, yeah, it's at least 30 at the. Oh, Ontario Swedish Chef. He knows what's up. He's a TFCon regular. It's at least 30 at this point, for sure. Because think about it, right? If I haven't missed one, now granted, the big V falls into that. It screws things up, but it's got to be at least 30. It's got to be. So, man, you know? And I missed I never have time for that. I never have time for it. because I'm enjoying the moment, you know? Yeah, the newest Toy Armada podcast segment, Clark Clint, is really good. We did a new format where now you could see me and Aaron's faces. Like it's a better audio quality. Like our audio quality was starting to slip. I don't know what was going on. So we have better audio quality. There's the visuals of both of us. We had all these cool extras. We had the original sketch photos by Don Figueroa for all of the classic stuff. We had the original prototypes and sketch photos from Alex, who worked on Bumblebee. We had a whole bunch of other prototype stuff. Like it like 1999 slides from during Beast Wars pitching the Heroes of Cybertron series, which was the prototype to the classics line. So this was back in 1999, the original slides, like the originals, like you're going to see all kinds of crazy stuff. And it only comes on the screen for a second, like, oh, here's this, here's that, here's this, you know, great segment. It's already passed like 1,000 views, I think, now at this point, you know, because again, good stuff, man. Good stuff. If you're subscribed here, go there. Go there. You'll hear more of my dumbass over there. You hear more of my dumbass. And we are past the 2-hour mark. I apologize, but we are done for tonight. Joe Cool. We are done for tonight. So again, thank you for tuning into the Transformer Slag podcast and supporting us. Again, thank you, Symbiote Studios. It's one of our sponsors. Thank you, Hasbro Pulse, for all the sponsorship you give with us. And thank you, Toy Armada, for just being a cool other place to hang out and talk robots and all kinds of other cool stuff. We're going to do another hodgepodge segment in the future. I want to do one where we talk about Metabots and Beyblade and Pokemon. Aaron did Pokemon stuff. How could we not talk about that? Like, we're going to do a lot of other stuff too, just for fun. But thank you again for joining us here on the Transformer Slag podcast. If you want to continue supporting the podcast, you could join those green names over there. Hit that join button. That's part of YouTube. Join for YouTube membership. If you want to continue supporting on a deeper sense, we have the Patreon link down there in the description. Come join us on Patreon. We have the Discord. We have your name in the end credit scroll. We have the sales section, all that stuff too. Or you could double dip, be part of the green names. Come join the Patreon. It's all different ways to support the podcast. Helps us out. You know what I mean? Look, when my microphone died and my webcam died, it was the money that you guys gave that paid for that stuff. And I'm telling you, that was weird ass stuff, man. That thing burned out, like smoke and everything. So you guys helped keep this whole this microphone, okay? This microphone only lasts like a Blue Yeti. You could get a good 10 years out of it. And like my old Blue Yeti died after a good 10 years of usage, and now I have my new one. Again, Blue Yetis aren't cheap, but you guys help support the podcast. I'm able to put money into that stuff and keep everything looking half decent, at least. Half decent, at least. And then we could pay for a razor so I could get a shave, you know. But thanks for all the love and support, guys. I'll keep you entertained and everything as long as humanly possible. We got a whole bunch of other stuff that's going to be revealed next week, so stay tuned for that. We'll talk about here on the podcast. Otherwise, again, support all the guys there, Symbiote, Aaron, and all of that. And I'm out of here. Take care of your friends, your family, your loved one. It's a beautiful world out there. There's a lot of cool stuff that fell over. I have my stack of model kits that I have to work on, and I just knock them all over. But there's a lot of cool stuff out there in that world. So take care of yourself. Don't be mad. Don't listen to the haters on the internet, and enjoy life. I'm out of here. As always, peace and roll out.